for in-person music analysis. I think, yeah, most of you guys have been like longtime friends, but I'll like do the quick bit for the context. Some of you don't even know why you're here. So yeah, especially Ivan. So this is like my childhood basically. Like I grew up playing violin in Montreal, very artistic city. And around like 13, I thought I wanted to be a pro violinist. We'll do Q&A at the end, I think.
I'm thinking, can we turn off the lights?
Oh.
If that's an option. It's kind of hard.
I don't know.
For some of them at least.
That's better. That's good.
That's
good.
I need this. Yeah. So up here, like, my parents sent me to this weird art school instead of like an actually good science and math school. So that's where I went to. You don't need to take notes, Brian. You're going to use that for something else. Don't worry about it. There's no test. You're going to use it for something else. So that school is called FACE, Fine Arts Core Education. It ran through, I went there from pre-K all the way to grade 11, which is when you leave high school in Quebec. And then also at the same time, I was going to the Montreal Conservatory, where you, that's like where the more serious students, get picked throughout Quebec to go and study music. And so around like 13, 14, that's when I started like finding music a lot more analytically interesting than just like play a bunch of notes or sing with people, even though that's like a cool community aspect. There's like a lot of deep musical structure that goes into why a certain song makes you feel a certain way. And that's what this music session is about. It's like, everyone I've showed this stuff to, they find it very interesting. And the things that you want to pay attention to when maybe you want to write this down, is key, tempo, timbre, melody, and phrasing. Those are the first 5 big chunks that when you're listening to a song, you want to keep those in mind. So key is, I'm going to go over the really basics, just for like a lot of people who don't know any music at all. But key is basically every song is made in a scale. Like almost every single song that you listen to is made in a scale. And a key is basically you're picking from a set of notes that when you pick from that set of notes in all of the set of notes, it kind of almost guarantees that the emotion of that song is going to feel a certain way. So if I play a song in C major key, which is comprised of the notes of, that's in C major, it's going to sound different than if you're in B flat or D minor, which is, that's B minor. So that's key. The tempo is the speed of the song. So if you have a song that's going 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's also going to create a different effect. Timbre is the word that we have in music for texture, but for music. So if I asked you to describe this table, it would be very difficult if you didn't have the texture of the table, and that's the same way where we talk about timbre in music, which is essentially another word for like vibe, but it's a more I don't know, sounds more serious when you say it. So if someone asks you what the timbre of the song is, you say, well, it's like if I'll get into examples later with the timbre. And then melody, you guys all know what a melody is, and then phrasing is more on the interpretation side, is after you've put all of these things together, then it's if you have a certain performer singing a song a different way than another performer because of the differences in their voice and the differences of how they resonate with their diaphragm and all of the little intricacies of the differences there. So, and we will go through examples of that. So for you guys, like what I hope that you get out of it is, it's sort of like when you understand more physics or you understand more math, there's kind of like a deeper appreciation of what's going on underlying all of these things. I think that hopefully the goal here is that after this music analysis session, you have a better idea of what's going on behind the scenes. and that can be like very enjoyable and enrich your appreciation of music. So let's get into it. So the reason I gave you paper and pen is because I want to start with a song called À Toi. Hello. You're late, don't worry.
Not late.
Timid. Oh, thank you. I want to start with a song called À Toi, which is by Joe Dassin, who was like one of the greatest French singers ever. If you think about like very typical French music, this is the timbre or vibe that's going on there. And I want you to, while we're going to listen to the whole thing in full, it's about like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. And I want everyone to just take notes about what they notice about the music. So that'll be like our baseline for what we're paying attention to. So, and the reason it's in French is because most of you don't know French, and so it'll be a good like baseline to start off of where we're just starting from. We're just doing like pure music analysis, okay? So here we go.
À toi, à la façon que tu as d'être belle, à la façon que tu as d'être à moi, à tes mots tendres un peu artificiels, quelquefois. À toi, à la petite fille que tu étais, à celle que tu es encore souvent, à ton passé, à tes secrets, à tes anciens princes charmants. À la vie, à l'amour, à nos nuits, à nos jours, à l'éternel retour de la chance, à l'enfant qui viendra, qui nous ressemblera, qui sera à la fois toi et moi. À moi, à la folie dont tu es la raison, à mes colères sans savoir pourquoi, à mes silences et à mes trahisons. Quelquefois, à moi, autant que j'ai passé à te chercher, aux qualités dont tu te moques bien, aux défauts que je t'ai cachés, à mes idées de baladin, à la vie, à l'amour, à nos nuits, à nos jours, à l'éternel retour de la chance, à l'enfant qui viendra, qui nous ressemblera, qui sera à la fois toi et moi. À nous, aux souvenirs que nous allons nous faire, à l'avenir et au présent surtout, à la santé de cette vieille terre qui s'en fout. À nous, à nos espoirs et à nos illusions, à notre prochain premier rendez-vous, à la santé de ces millions d'amoureux qui sont comme nous. À toi, à la façon que tu as d'être belle, à la façon que tu as d'être à moi, à tes mots tendres un peu artificiels, quelquefois. À toi, à la petite fille que tu étais, à celle que tu es encore souvent, à ton passé, à tes secrets, à tes anciens princes.
Okay, who wants to go first?
What's
Did you
the
write down?
question?
Question is, what did you notice from the music?
It had a very driving, like rhythm and beat throughout.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else? I'm just taking all the suggestions. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a drummer, so I just listen to the drums.
Yeah.
But it plays around with like open and close sounds a lot. So it alternates between.
Say more about that, because I probably don't know as much about
Yeah.
drums.
So like I guess in drumming, when you want to open up the feel of a song or close it down, you literally open like the cymbal thing.
Yeah.
And they're doing that at a high frequency, like within bars, basically, right? As opposed to like at the length of the song.
That's the noise,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, so that
Right.
changes a lot.
Okay. Anyone else? Arjun?
Yeah, sure. Big melody phrasing person. So it was an A minor. Tempo is 120 something BPM. Is I don't know 1462 pattern. And I don't know. It was pretty standard phrasing. pre-chorus, and I don't know, it's kind of melancholic. That's about summer or something.
Wait, can I ask, how did you know it was A minor?
We've got a Jacob Collier fan, that's why. Jacob Collier, everyone knows who Jacob Collier is?
Yeah.
Anyone who listens to Jacob Collier, they know their music. Yeah. Do you want to
Wait, yeah, how did you know it was A minor?
Oh, vibes.
You're close.
Yeah.
It's C major. So
Oh,
A minor is
because
the,
it's,
it's the relative. It's the
relative,
relative
yeah.
minor of that. So actually, you hit the nail on the head. So first thing we're doing here is key. So this is in C major. And if you just like look up on the internet, what does C major evoke? Innocence, happiness, spiritual feeling, the nostalgic feeling you're talking about. And then this is, I played these scales for you already, C major and then B minor. So you notice the B minor scale is a lot sadder. The C major scale is a lot, it's still a little nostalgic, but it's not like sadness. It's like this hopeful feeling. So you're also right about the message being conveyed here is something about, it's like love. The song is called À toi, which means to you. And the song lyrics is basically, Joe Dassin is, saying to you, and then he lists all of these things that he loves about her, and especially a bunch of things that he finds a little silly. And then the chorus goes, to life and to love, à la vie, à l'amour, à nos nuits, à nos jours. So to life and to love, to our nights and to our days, to the eternal return of luck. So it's basically about this cyclical cycle of family and love and whatever, and then he continues with à l'enfant qui viendra, qui nous ressemblera, qui sera à la fois toi et moi, which means to the child who will come from us both, who will resemble us both, and who will be at once both you and I. So now that you know what it's about, now what becomes fun is understanding why all the little choices inside of this music. It's not just like, this is the song, and then that's why you feel it. There's a bunch of really intentional choices. The first one, literally right off the bat, is the choice of instrument here. Why are we choosing an electric piano? Electric piano is super nostalgic, especially when you're playing something like really slow and this cyclical little rhythm that they have going. Like you said, the melodies are a loop, and this whole song is a loop, because what happens is you start these first 15 seconds, you've got this loop going, and then if you listen throughout the song, it's literally just that loop.
À toi,
Except with different
à la
instruments.
façon que tu as d'être belle, à la façon que tu as d'être à moi, à tes mots tendres.
Now, if we go to tempo, what you've got going on is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But for some reason, it feels a little more jumpy. Right? It still feels like you're moving forward in this story, even though if you were to just look at me and not listen to the music, and I go, this is like a war march. You pointed it out. It's because of those. I forget the actual name of what the drum component is.
hi-hat is what it's called.
There we go. I was going to say something stupid like cymbals or whatever, but that's what keeps that going. And so instead of just having you've kind of got a bit of a bass jump.
Difficile,
Just have a
quelquefois,
bass jump there on your
à
own.
toi, à la
So
petite fille que tu
because
étais,
on the off keys,
à celle que tu es encore souvent,
that's what keeps
à
it
ton
going.
passé, à tes secrets, à tes...
So yeah, so if we're talking about timbre, that's what the nostalgic piano provides. And a little word on timbre, because I know I said it was just vibe, but does anyone know why violinists change positions when they play? So if I play, or I play, oh my God, I'm so rusty. If you watch my hand, it's going here, here, here. Even though I can play all the notes in this position. So that's first position, or I can switch when I'm going up. Anyone know why?
I would guess that the different strings have a different timbre.
Yeah.
Timbres when you're like at different levels of tension.
Yeah, you?
When you play the open string with no like fingers on, it like sounds different.
Yes, correct. So you guys both have it. It's basically, did you say color?
I said timbre.
Okay, yeah. So that's another thing that we say is it changes the color of what you're playing. I remember when I learned this, I was like 7, and I wanted to play this piece that my teacher was making me play, and I wanted to play it all in first position because I sucked ass at third position. And he was like, play it in third position. I was like, why? Like, I can play the whole thing first. And then he told me about color, and I was kind of annoyed because I was like, what are you talking about? It's not color. But a good example of this, I think, a really good example of this, or at least one that I like, is in Symphonie Espagnole, which is one of the really important concertos in violin repertoire. Actually, I'll play the 5th movement for you here. I think it's 5th. Yeah. To get to, but in that piece, you're starting with and those are all notes that you can play here, right? But it's way more intense if you're playing it in 5th position, right up here. If you played it too. Oh, yeah. You're good. So that gives you an idea of time. And then just one last interesting thing about this, and then we'll finally move on, is if you listen to the harmonies. During the chorus. If you listen to these harmonies, what do you notice about the harmonies? There's 2 people singing. No?
Are there really 2 people singing?
There are 2 people singing. If you listen last night. You hear it? Yeah, go ahead.
I guess everything is higher.
Yes. So they're singing in seconds. I was going to say third, but you might be.
I mean, like they're singing second, which is.
But it is a little different.
It's third apart from the first.
Yeah, correct. And it does sound a little dissonant.
Yeah.
But when I listen to it, and I've listened to it a lot, like with AirPods, it sounds like Joe Dassin picked a voice that sounds similar to his that was when he was younger. That's part of that's like intentional. It's all part of, creating this effect of the cyclical nature. You're starting with a cycle. And one last thing, actually, is if you listen to the ending is a fade out. And the reason for that is because when you start something as cyclical as there's no way to end that, right? Like, how are you ever going to end that? There's no. It's not like some rock song where you're gonna like some whiplash type of ending. You just there's no way to end that, so you fade out, and that's also part of the cyclical message of this music. Okay, it took a lot longer than I thought the first one was gonna take. So let's go on to the next one, which is Dancing in the Moonlight. taking notes. So. Oh,
We get it.
yes. You'll need some writing material. So we're.
So I
Yes.
came from the airport.
Yeah, you're good. Do you have something to write on?
I have that yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
I
Yeah.
also have
Oh, okay, do that.
I would also give you pizza.
We're just taking notes. So who just came? Just Paul and Nancy. So we're listening to the song in full, and then while you're listening, take notes on what you notice, like just the music, like what it makes you feel, what are the structures, and then we're gonna discuss it after. So.
Almost every night. And when that moon gets so big and bright, it's supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight.
You'll probably notice something about the drums. A little different.
Everybody here is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. They keep things loose, they keep things alive. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and happy sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. We like our fun and we never fight. You can dance and stay uptight. It's supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and
Someone explain to us all.
such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the
One thing that's important when you're doing music analysis is you cannot stop paying attention. So if there's like a part where you're like, oh, this is just like the random part.
Everybody
it's important to
here is out of
always
sight.
stop changing. So
They
you're
don't
never gonna
bark
rap
and they don't bite. They keep things loose, they keep things alive. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight.
All right, I want to start with our expert, Arjun.
I don't want to go first. Anyone else?
Who wants to go? Anything? I feel like as we go through this, you guys should have more to say. Like you're starting to get a repertoire of patterns that you should start noticing throughout. Yeah.
There's that similar idea of like that keyboard melody that was played
Right,
throughout,
right.
and also the bass I believe was also pretty consistent throughout the whole
Correct.
song.
Yeah.
Although there is, I like how there's a little bit more variation between the repeating sections, like how there's like some ride cymbal or a cowbell or something that was added on for the chorus
Yeah,
for the time around.
Very good. Yeah.
The actual voices have like a harmony in them. I think it was like a perfect fourth as it sounded like, but it's not just one voice, it's layered like that intentionally, especially with like its major key. It's very uplifting and gentle.
Mm-hmm. Close. C minor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So C minor. Declaration of love, at the same time lament of unhappy love. So very similar type of vibe. I mean, like if just to make it clear, the difference between C major and C minor is very, very. It's like it's literally one note if you're going up. So C major, C minor, or if you do the harmonic minor. Oh. Ooh. So for when you're going up, it's literally just a difference of one note, which is why the emotions that are tied to it, which is usually some declaration or nostalgia about love, is like very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, at the start of the song, there's like only one thing happening at a time. So like
Yes.
there'll be like only guitar or something, or like
Yes.
only one voice, or like only the multiple voices. But then by the end of the song, it's like all happening at the same
Amazing.
time.
Yes, that's good. I wanted to hit on that on this one, so that's very good. Yeah.
I guess I was mostly listening to the bass, I think, and I was confused at the beginning, like why it's so much like everything is sort of in sync, but the bass is very syncopated. It's on the like offbeats.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like sort of reminds me of like the call response pattern. Like the voice is singing, and there are times where it sort of gets in phase with the voice, follows the exact same melody, and then goes on and like does its own thing.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Everyone knows what syncopation is. Who doesn't know what syncopation is? Okay. Cool. So syncopation is a rhythm pattern in music that is used very often. You can actually learn it very early, and it's super simple, but it's super useful in creating like emotions in music. So if you have your regular syncopation is, so someone clap 1, 2, 3, 4. So what it's doing is it creates that little jump. It's like the same thing with the, what is it called?
The hi-hat.
Yeah, the hi-hat.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the hi-hat. Usually hi-hats are doing a syncopated rhythm. So if you like Anderson Paak, he does that a lot. He plays like syncopated rhythms while singing and then playing like some other instrument at the same time. It's incredible. Last one.
Oh no, I was just asking, is syncopation, is that the specific one you were playing right now, or can there be like other variations of like the person going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like off notes based off of that?
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that that is a syncopated rhythm. And then,
So
like,
that's the
of
only
course, you
one.
can play a bunch of different rhythms at the same time. And like African music is like off the charts when it comes to that. So yeah, there's lots of different rhythms that you can play at the same time. You're not restricted to that, but syncopation is a very simple one that's used in a ton of stuff. So good, you guys hit on like a ton of stuff that I wanted to say. So we'll just do it a little more formally. So like you said, I put the song right after on purpose. It's because it's literally the same song but in English. And you can tell by it's built off the same stuff. You start with the little piano, and like you said, this is another important thing that happens a lot in music. Is most good songs are always adding something every 4 to 6 bars.
We
So,
get it.
There's a huge contrast. That's 16 seconds, but listen to where you start. You got one instrument. You add something. Adding more rhythms. And you just got this like huge cluster of stuff that comes together, and then
We get it
boom.
almost
And
every
it
night.
continues to do that throughout.
When that
And then if you're ever wondering like, okay, well why do they put in the middle like something like this? It's got, like, and then later the drums on chill. It's because you can't always be in climax, right? Like the whole point of music is you've got these contrasting elements. So if you just like 10 seconds in, you've got dancing in the moonlight, and then you do that like forever. Like there's no contrast. Good. Another thing is it's important to understand like just generally as a framework in music. You're building up tension and then you're destroying it. So what is good in this song and what keeps it kind of entertaining, even though it's a really repetitive and simple melody, is it's through like a bunch of these rhythms fighting against each other and then breaking down into something like simple where you're starting again from scratch and building up. That's what creates like this tension, and it feels like it's kind of like you're like Peter Thiel has a saying like you're mistaking dynamism for progress. That's what's going on in this song. It's like you're never actually really making progress and stuff. It's just like a bunch of stuff going on at the same time. Yes, I do quote Peter Thiel in music analyses. Cool. We gotta move on. I don't want to keep people here too long. So, but yes, there's another thing. Like a lot of the time, the hi-hat or whatever it's called, that's almost always to lighten the mood. It's almost always something to release the tension of having that heavy 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then I thought someone, I mean, Kai, you kind of pointed it out, but like for me, this is the dead giveaway. The exact same song is the fade out, right? So the song is about love and my declaration of love and whatever, and how we're gonna dance in the moonlight forever. Like it's literally the message. It's a cyclical message, and so that's why you can't end it with something other than a fade out. Is because you started with that extremely addictive thing. So. For the people like Brian, who are probably like very skeptical of what I'm saying right now, I'm going to go to. I knew you'd be skeptical.
I was very skeptical what you just said.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We're gonna prove.
We're gonna go back into the song ended. Instant stop.
Your bookmarks are so random.
So, I wrote this. Okay, that's nice and all, Tobias. You can play a song in a language I don't know, then say a bunch of the musical elements of that song are building to a certain message, and then tell me that message at the end. How do I know that's on purpose? Are the composers really thinking about this, or are you just cherry picking what you think makes sense? Good question, Brian. Let's go listen to John Williams. Does everyone know who this is?
No.
No. Good question, Brian. John Williams is one of the most legendary composers of all time. So if you ever watch Star Wars, he's in charge of all of the music behind that. If you ever watched Jurassic Park, he's in charge of all of the music behind that. If you've ever listened to any like huge movie, he's probably one of the 3 big composers who's behind that, with Hans Zimmer and someone else, I forget. This is a really awesome video. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube if you want. And it's footage of George Lucas, who created Star Wars, and John Williams, behind the scenes of them recording the Duel of the Fates song, which is the song that plays when you, during the Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan battle. So this is at the end of the 3rd movie, leading into the 4th movie of Star Wars. You've probably heard the song before, it's very famous. And I just want you to pay attention. This is kind of my proof to you that this is all on purpose.
And then we get another phone call 2 or 3 months later, and he would fix a spotting date where we go in a dark room and talk about where the music is going to go and what it should do, etc.
Then it goes from that into religioso force.
Yeah.
It just has to be something that kind of says, we're fighting back now. But I think we need to keep that kind of fighting back theme going to keep the energy up.
The great sword fight at the end of the film, the decision to make that choral was just the result of my thinking that it should have a kind of ritualistic or quasi-religious feeling to it, if you like. And that the introduction of a chorus might be just the thing.
1, 2, 3. People, I think always kura, ratama, all of that. I've chosen these Sanskrit words because of the quality of the vowels. Do it again, please. See how pure a choral sound you can get. Don't force it. So. That's better. Chorus, what?
And then later in this documentary, he says, like George Lucas, they're talking about maybe taking that choir chorus out of the movie because, you know, they're always trying to cut for time. And George Lucas says, no, absolutely not. It's a song that sounds like Star Wars. And so you see he chose the vowels on purpose. And then we're going to listen to, there's actually a really good video online by someone who knows way more music than me. This is a music score breakdown of what's going on in Duel of the Fates. So I don't expect you to read this at once, like, but. If you start right, if there's anything to pay attention to here, this is another thing to write about. But I'm gonna go as we go for this one, just so you can stay. So, starting right there in the first 15 seconds, what John Williams is saying when he says that don't force it, right? When he's recording with them, he says I've chosen this for the quality of the vowels. You can sing that part and those notes in very many different ways. And what he's doing when he says I want to make the quality of the vowels and I want to make like this really pure sound, what he's saying he's trying to improve the quality of the timbre so it sounds more monastic. So you can if I were to come into a rehearsal like that, and I'm sure like a bunch of people that came in were also like that, that's such a fun part to sing. Right? But you're forcing it here, and really what you want to do is you're so many people together that you just want to go you're really trying to keep it high and not force anything, and that's what gives like a more pure it's also it gives a feeling of inevitability, which is what that whole sword fight is about. So like, well, this is a battle of the force. It's light versus evil. That's inevitable that happens. So let's keep going here. It's similar to Dancing in the Moonlight. So everything just starts building off of one line. You go with the cellos, but then eventually violins come in. Jesus, I'm so surprised. But yeah. So this first minute of the song is literally just building up a bunch of tension because this is like the really simple sword fighting stuff. That's an important part, is you're building up all of this tension so that you can have this duel between the horns and the trumpets, and the thing is literally a duel. Like the movie and the music, this part is about a duel. So you're going, the horns go, and then the trumpets come right after. And then you keep going. Start building again so that you can have like a final climax right at the end.
In the first bar there, when there's like 12 notes stacked on top of each other, are there like 4 instruments there all playing?
What's going on is that this is a compressed score. So if you had like the full score, like from top to bottom, it'd mostly be like 2 or 4 notes for each individual instrument.
This might not be super related to just music, but how do composers know when to make a climax, when to decide when to
It's a good question. I'll do that. And here you've got a violin. String build up. So what you've got is you've got all these violins going. I don't know this part, but basically imagine it's all in E's. So you're, and then you've got the horns and trumpets going. which is counter to those rhythms that is going on with the violins. And then that's another something else because we're running out of time, and but you guys got the point for that one. Another interesting thing, like next thing on our buffet of music is musicals. So musicals, it gets even more complex because you're putting all of that music stuff together, but then you've also got characters, and like we've done enough instrumental analysis here. I want to pay attention to some fun things in the characters. So this is from a play called Notre de Paris, which is, if you've ever seen the Disney movie Belle of Notre Dame, it's from the Victor Hugo book. And it's like Quasimodo, the really ugly, crippled guy. He wants Esmeralda. I mean, everyone wants Esmeralda, basically. Quasimodo, the crippled guy. Phoebus, who's like this, he's kind of like a sinful knight. And then you've got Frodo, I think it's Frollo, and he's a priest that feels desire towards her, and so he kind of hates her because he thinks she's the devil for making him desire her. This is a masterpiece song in the play, and it's called Belle. And it's when all three of them are singing about their different reasons of desire for her. But I want you to pay attention to the difference of their voices. And this is what the interpretation side. This would be more phrases, more individual performers. Don't pay attention to How is everyone for time? Because it's 6:55 and you guys are good? Oh, let's go. Let's go. I've got plenty of stuff.
2 more hours.
Not 2 more hours, don't worry. But that being said, I do want to go back to the Darth Maul thing real quick, just so I can show some interesting stuff from that. So, great. Yeah. Listen to this. You hear that? That scale going up? That's basically like a super ominous harmonic going up scale, is what you're talking about. Last thing here. Everyone, these are octaves. Everyone knows what an octave is. So it's really powerful to end on octaves. And that's why, even though like midway, I don't know if you noticed it, but midway there's a part where you feel like you could have ended the song, but this is why it's really important to end on octaves, is if I end, yeah, so, versus, well, like a good example is in Danzón No. 2, is a Spanish song. The ending is this is how you memorize stuff. You just have the finger pattern, and then you don't actually remember the song. And then basically after that, you've got much more serious ending than if I just go. Right, so that's what's going on there. Okay. Oh, and Brian, just to show you, this stuff is on purpose. Fuck. Wrong way. Skepticism now, because here's what happens. This is where it ends on octaves. That's why it ends on octaves, because of the vowel ends. How I see their skepticism now. Very good. Okay, so Notre Dame Belle.
L'orge s'enfle sous mes sommets. J'ai posé mes yeux sous sa robe de gitane. À quoi me sert encore de prier Notre-Dame? Et celui qui jettera la première pierre, celui-là ne mérite pas d'être super. Oh Lucifer, laisse-moi glisser mes doigts dans les cheveux d'Esmeralda.
So it's just a song about each of their individual spots for Esmeralda. But pay attention to how they're singing. So now this is
Est-ce le diable qui s'est incarné en elle pour détourner les yeux du Dieu éternel qui a mis dans mon être ce désir charnel pour m'empêcher de regarder vers le ciel. Elle portait le péché originel. La désireuse fait-il de moi un criminel? Celle qu'on prenait pour une fille de joie, une fille de rien, semble soudain porter la proie du genre humain. Oh Notre-Dame, laisse-moi rien qu'une fois pousser la porte du jardin d'Esmeralda.
He's kind of a womanizer, bad person, knight. And he has the most impressive voice.
Laissez-moi ils ensorcellent. La demoiselle serait-elle encore plus seule? Quand ces mouvements me font voir monts et merveilles, ce sont jupons couleur de l'arc-en-ciel. Maudit le fidèle, laissez-moi vous être fidèle avant de vous avoir mené jusqu'à l'autel. Et l'homme qui détournerait son regard d'elle, sous peine d'être changé en statue de sable. Aux fleurs de lys, ne suis pas homme de foi. J'irai cueillir la fleur d'amour d'Esmeralda.
The way this ends is they all sing in harmony.
Laisse-moi rien qu'une fois glisser mes doigts dans les cheveux d'Esmeralda.
So what I love about musicals is these songs and musicals are really exciting to listen to because they're trying to fit in an entire story in, I don't know how many bars are in the 4-minute song, but in that amount of song. And for a musical like this, and a musical like Les Miserables, which is what we'll take a look at right after, everything is synced. So the entire story has to be conveyed in the music. And it's kind of like watching like a really impressive athletic feat. Like you have no clue how they're going to achieve this by fitting all of this story into, you know, a song, but they managed to do it. So what I want to point out here is the difference in how they sing. So Quasimodo, like, actually, the most important thing when casting characters like this in musicals is not their physical size. It's not how they look, because if you take a look, he's got so much makeup on. You can make anyone look like anything. It's their voices. People pick the casting, always the first thing, the first question. They're trying to match someone's voice with the character, and that's how they move from there. So Quasimodo's singing voice, very scratchy. And then if you listen to Frollo's voice, when I listen to him, what stands out to me a lot is that his whole spiel, Frollo is all about pride. The whole story about Frollo is he's too prideful to admit that he's attached or like fallen in love with her or desires her, and so he goes and he kills her. In the movie, I've never read the book, so I don't know, but he's so desirous of her, and he thinks that it's the devil's doing, and so he goes to kill her. And you can notice that in the way that he sings. He sings with a very nasal tune. And his vibrato is very I don't know how you say it, but like the frequency is very short. And it's kind of the way I interpret that is like he's like uptight about it. His vibrato communicates that he's uptight and prideful about that. Oh, I think we're good.
Isn't that just compression? That's the word. Compression?
Yeah, the frequency is compressed. And then Phoebus, he's just got like a super impressive voice, and that fits his character too. His character is like able to impress anyone with his womanizer abilities. He gets really carried away with, like these are all like flex notes here. Okay, cool. I won't keep you guys too long. Just want to show one more thing. Or I can show musical, or we can go into some of the recommendations. I put yours in.
No way.
Yeah. I'm just going to show something really quick, and then we'll go to recommendations.
Daily jackpots, a chance to win with it.
Do you think they do this for ads too?
Good question.
What's cool to you?
I always mute ads when I listen to them because I find the sound, I remember the sound more than I remember the video, but I don't know about this. So I just want to quickly show you the difference between Philip Cast's performance of Stars versus Norm Lewis. So Stars in Les Miserables is a musical about Jean Valjean, who's a slave who escapes his master, but he was enslaved for stealing a loaf of bread. So not really fair. It's in the French Revolution. And Javert, who is he's the chief of police, who is very serious about law and order, but he's kind of like got a pretty good moral compass if you listen to this song. And this song, Stars, is about the moral compass of the bad guy Javert. And he compares himself to stars. And you'll hear the lyrics, but it's stuff like, you are the order in the sky. No matter what happens, you always stay your course. So if you just listen quickly to the difference in how Philip Cass and Norm Lewis sings it, and they're both actors.
There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from God, fallen from grace. God be my witness, I never shall yield till we come face to face. Till we come face to face. He knows his way in the dark. Mine is the way of the Lord. Those who follow the path of the righteous shall have their reward. And if they fall as a loose of a bear, the flame, the sword, stars.
So that's Philip Cass, and this is Norm Lewis. Much more open.
In the
Much more open.
a fugitive road,
Right? He doesn't just see like
fallen from
just a pure melody.
God, fallen from grace. God be my witness, I never shall yield till we come face to face.
And he holds the notes.
Till we come face to face.
He doesn't
He knows his way in the
he's
dark.
singing for longer.
Mine is the way of the Lord. Those who follow the path of the righteous shall have their reward. And if they fall as Lucifer fell, the flame, the sword.
So I love Norm Lewis's interpretation, but I also love Philip Cass. There's trade-offs to this. It's literally just like an engineering problem. If right here, Norm Lewis is super emotional at the beginning, but what does that do? It means that you don't notice this buildup anywhere as much, right? With this guy, Philip Cass,
Mine is the way of the Lord.
and so you notice
Those
this
who
buildup.
follow the path of the
You notice
righteous
it with Norm Lewis at the
shall
beginning.
have
When
their
the orchestra changes to
reward. And if they fall as a loose of a bear, the flame, the sword.
And that's not just in how much vibrato he's doing. Norm Lewis also makes some interesting rhythm choices here. So
Till we come, he knows his way in the dark. Mine is the way of the Lord.
Norm Lewis goes, he knows his way in the dark. Mine is the way of the Lord, which is more free than
Yield till we come face. He knows his way in the dark. Mine is the way of the Lord. Those who follow the
mine is the way of the Lord. And so all of those choices to be a little bit more free before the climax, which is not even the real climax, the climax is at the end, but that makes the contrast way less impressive. There is so much I love about this, but I think we should go to recommendations. So let's start with Water.
By
I don't know how to pronounce it. All right, everyone take notes so you can tell Brian why he loves this song so much.
Musical masterpiece.
Well, there's just so much to cover.
I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's a sawtooth wave.
Wait, he said when he sent this, he said, it makes me feel like I'm suspended in electrons.
Oh, he did.
Quote
I
and
remember
quote.
that, yes.
So if you have any ideas for why that's the case, I don't know if sawtooth wave.
Well, it just goes down, and then it has a very distinct start, like it restarts. So you're just doing the same thing,
At the
you're
beginning.
It's called edging.
Go ahead.
I found the contrast between the timbre of the main instrumentation and the beat was very different. It's like there's that super harsh,
that's a good
nasal,
point, too.
strong sound wave, and like the beat is a lot tighter, a lot more toned back, a lot.
It's another build-up of
Yeah.
tension because you've got two contrasting elements. Yeah.
There's two things that stand out. One would be the melody itself. You have two notes that are right next to each other that are played all the time. So it's like if you have like say right, you have that is played along with that together, and then also okay. So if you go like okay, can you okay?
Yeah. It's just like
Just
super
like a
slightly
tiny
off.
like yeah. So that
It's like
gives
electric
it like
shocking
a,
you.
yeah, it gives you this sort of like pop like feel.
Correct. Yeah.
So
Anything else? So what stood out to me when I listened to it for Brian is there's certain songs that I think their tempo and patterns fit your mind and walking flow state really well. So this is a song for me, like it's super good to walk to. You feel really energized when walking to it. And the same thing about
Yo, G, they can't stop me from replicating. Can they hot? I spin it through the wire, man.
It's the exact same thing. Except there's
Too much stuff on my mind
less
right
of a
now.
weird like tension build up.
I gotta get this
by
right now.
having rhythms that fight against each other, but what you do have is you have the
It's a life and death situation, man. Y'all hate, y'all really understand how I feel right
which
now,
also
man.
creates the
It's your boy Kanye Chubb. Shut down, what's going on?
Alright, let's move on to Anson.
Wait, can I put a different one?
Sure, but I won't have listened to it before.
Just choose any Anderson Paak.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then we gotta go to the Tiny Desk video.
Yeah, so yeah, we do.
Oh, is this the
Really?
Exactly,
Yes. I don't want everyone to see my YouTube search. Too much feel, Vaughn.
Cybersecurity, if you don't have experience, Google cybersecurity certificate. Use a real world.
I think this song is appropriate,
I mean,
being
so
that it's like a
Anderson
song in
Paak
it
is a
right now.
rhythmical genius.
Y'all niggas got me hot!
You can, if you just want to take notes of every single rhythm that you hear going on here, that'll be enough to do an entire music analysis.
You know this shit, sing along. Niggas got me hot!
So Max is out. Oh, never mind.
Hey! Well, that's exactly where the nigga came from.
So if you notice here, he's got a different rhythm going on with his left hand than with his right. So that's what he's doing with the left hand. It's a syncopation. It's, I don't want to mess it up.
You taking shots from afar, I'ma meet you at your front door. So hard to be doing what you really live on beauty.
You guys get the point. And then he's
But
also
don't make it look
countering
easy.
that
Don't make it
with
look
his
good.
housing.
Hey, you drink up all my nigga, come on. What if
What
you
he's
do
singing,
now?
syncopation here, and then there's the steady
You
1, 2, 3,
gon' have to back it up. If I get too high now, sugar, come on. I might never come down. I might never come
And then the rhythm. This could be like a really repetitive song, but he changes it up. He changes the rhythms.
I wanna get down. Tell me now, you back, ever come down. I wanna
But the
get
thing
down.
stays constant. It's just the 1, 2, 3.
Ever get down. Get too long to get this high down. Say, can't beat it,
So every something always changes and can't see it, songs, which is one song to listen to about them, even though they sound really, really familiar. Like a lot of his music, you can tell it's very good recommendation. So Marie, you recommended Formidable. I'm gonna pick a different Charles Aznavour. So Charles Aznavour, probably the greatest French singer ever. If you think typical French is kind of the first thing that sticks out to me here is those violins are out of tune. On purpose. This song is called Ode to You Life. So it's literally just about, you know, what's the slang saying? It is what it is. Not it is what it is. It's like a happy version of it is what it is. But that's why
Oh, doit la vie.
something that is very, very common brand for Aznavour. He's got that.
Dans mon porte un enfant.
That's in every single shell Aznavour.
Donne-moi l'amour et la
Unless
vengeance.
it's not violence.
Ma vie.
Violence is some really nice flowing
Ô
thing.
voix impénétrables, fait que de grains de sable, je devienne géant. Ô toi la vie, dont je ne connais rien, qui fuit entre mes mains,
Trumpets are usually used as kind of like a
j'appréhende tes
like you're fighting, like we saw in Duel with the Fates.
ma
But he's
vie.
really good at using trumpets, saxophone, jazz instruments to have more of a nostalgic
Un
feel.
matin disparaisse,
Or else I'll never get through this.
me laissant sur ma faim. Tu sais, la vie, je ne t'ai pas cherché, c'est toi qui m'es donné, comme une fille en alzée. Je peux depuis me vautrer dans tes bras, faire un feu de tes joies, et l'amour avec toi. La vie, ouvre ses lèvres et
Here's
réchauffe
another shot Aznavour. Same thing, piano. What stands out to me about this one, listen to where we're starting. This is a 1 minute, 2 minute song.
avec moi
You're building up here. So
sur mon corps, dans mes bras enlacés,
this song is called Stay.
essoufflé,
It's like the French version of Marvin.
assouvi, étourdi,
Let's
reste
get to the
au
end. Listen
chaud,
to how intense the end is in a 2 minute
alourdi,
song that started from nothing.
dans le noir, mon amour.
That chord structure is it's the same chord structure in the background. You've got the same arpeggio. That's what's going on here. That's the same thing that's going on in Snowman.
Your faith was strong, but
Starts the exact same way. All those songs make you feel the exact same way.
Don't cry, snowman, not in
That is
front of
sad.
Who gets tears if you can't get me, darling? If you can't catch me, darling.
The normal song is just like an S, right? It's the exact same thing.
Don't cry, snowman.
Right? Oh, good. We've got enough here.
reste,
Yeah.
reste encore.
Exactly the same thing. If you guys are having fun, I have one last one. This was actually for Mikhail, who's not here, but if you want to do any others before I hit the last one, any song you're curious about? Or
You know, like the 4 chords thing where like a bunch of songs are on the same 4 chords.
Oh, actually, I wish I could do that. I never learned it on purpose, but you can go watch an Ed Sheeran video. No? Okay.
I would be curious to do Bags.
I listened to it,
You're a hater?
and to be honest, didn't really like it.
Alright, that's fair.
But
That's fair. No, we don't.
But we can talk about it another time. The songs that make me super nostalgic are The Wanted.
The sun goes down, the
Those always
stars
hit so
come
hard.
out, and all
It could
that
be because,
counts
you know,
is
it's like the
you
age when
and
you listen to those songs.
my
and you always remember those things, but
universe
it's like
will never be
super
the same.
typical. Like for me, when I think of this is like summer when I was like 12. And I can always remember.
That's my iPod.
But what The Wanted is really good at doing is we're really good at the continuous build up. So you never get bored of listening to the Wanted song because there's always something new that's being added.
You cast a spell on me, spell on me. You hit me like the sky fell on me, and I I decided you look well on me, so let's go somewhere no one else can see you and me. Turn the lights out now, I'll take you by the hand and you another drink. Drink it if you can you spend a little time? Time is slipping away from us, so stay with me, I can make you glad you came. The sun goes down, the stars come out. All that counts is here and now. The universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came.
Is another good example. You're starting from nothing, you've just got something going on, and then adding drums.
I'm better, so much better now. I see the lights.
So they're a lot more free when they sing. Good, really good singers. All the people in the Wanted. So they have a really free rhythmic way of singing, but that's all really like every single song you listen to goes. It's like a good transfer of bass to hold everything exciting that comes after. Because then you start playing with a lot of creative stuff, especially with on the road.
You'll find us chasing the sun.
Feel the difference whether it's
you'll find us chasing the sun. You'll find us chasing the sun. We're gonna play in the dark till it's cold again. And now it feels so amazing. Can see it coming and we'll never grow old again. You'll find us chasing the sun.
Okay, there was just like something on the agenda I wanted to make sure I show you guys before we do some more music. Is my slide for this is basically there's levels to this shit. This is Maxim Vengerov. So this is stuff I used to watch like all the time. There's things called masterclasses in music where like some of the best, so this is the Royal College of Music in London, some of the best training violinists in the world, like probably the next future soloists, and they pick like the top 3, 4, or 5, in this case violinists, and then get them to have a 2 hour, or I think this one it was like an hour each for each person, or like a 1 hour class with Maxim Vengerov, who this guy was literally the best violinist in the world at, like when he turned 19. And then like had that reign for about, I don't know, like at least 20 years. And what I find really interesting about watching these is that it's really cool because they come in, they already sound so good, and over the course of an hour of just him being like, play more like a flower. And then they're like, oh, I never thought of that. And then they play it, and it's like, wow, that sounds like a flower. And then they keep sounding better. So here's a passage, just a 3-minute clip of them working on a passage.
From here.
It's the Brahms Violin Concerto. It's the hardest violin concerto to play.
Yeah, careful with the grace notes. Yeah, they shouldn't be overwhelming. They should be part of the trill. La, 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 as if you are starting to open the door.
And then what? She's gonna play it and it's gonna start to open the door.
Different speed of the bow, different color, everything. Yeah, directly the trills. La, 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 la. Yeah, and the C sharp, leading up. Lovely. Yeah, and here open up. And look in the score. You're not alone here. You have violas, huh? See, Brahms gave the counterpoint to the Viola's beautiful one. Can you play please for us, Simon? Yeah, see, in Brahms's music, a lot of decision making for characters lies with a counterpoint. And now we have the bassoons. Yo ti ti la ti ta. That's the yeah. Okay. So now when we put everything together, you must be like cherry on the cake. La ti la la. The F sharp, which determines the D major, is played by violas. They're inviting you to play your F sharp. So make this connection, yeah? Don't play alone. Trill.
Yeah, blocker, bro.
Blossom. Yeah, change of the heart.
Yeah, see, she really improved that passage in like 3 minutes of just sound like a cherry on the cake. It was awesome, and there you go. By the way, Russian violinists are so fun to get coached by because they're like super stoic, but then they'll say stuff like "become a cherry on the cake" as like advice, which is like really fun. So we can do more after, but I just wanted to end the formal presentation. These are the lessons. There's a real structure to causing emotion. When you're analyzing music, the first 5 things I always look for: key, tempo, time of melody, phrasing, and then that's where all the fun begins. That's when you can start thinking about things like, should I sing more oval like Norm Lewis? Should I sing more tight? What is the interpretation of my character? And then like, what do I think sounds good too is also a good question. And you will always continue to discover more and more as you stay curious about why a certain note or a certain phrase makes you feel a certain way. So let's do like a formal Q&A, and then I'm down to do whatever afterwards. Is that good? Fun? Cool. Did I make you less skeptical?
I have a question.
Okay, good. I won't know the answer. Like, I'm really not that deep at all. Especially when it comes to key. Like, my music theory is not that advanced, but I can try. You might actually know a lot more about keys. Yeah.
I don't think I should have that question.
Okay. Who else? Any questions? Yeah.
All of this is like analysis of things people already wrote. How, like, I guess, what are the differences between like actually writing and that process?
I mean, I did do some composition classes, like as part of the conservatory. I was never very good at it.
Because I can imagine you can be very good at analysis, but not very good at writing, like the other way around.
Yeah, that's actually, I would say that's most of performers. Like Maxim Vengerov, I don't think he would be a very good composer, but he's very good at understanding. It's like a different skill. It's a different skill. It's like when you, the skill is you read something and you're like, what am I trying to convey? And then obviously there's also the skill of being able to play it. But like, I'm setting that aside. Like the skill is really different from having like new ideas. Like Jacob Collier is insane. Like Jacob Collier is a good example of everything I just taught you. He just breaks it all apart because he's so knowledgeable about how things fit together. Like he has an even better first principles understanding of what sounds good. More than just, like he doesn't pay attention to keys or any stuff like that. He just breaks all the rules and yet it sounds incredible. Yeah, different skill, I would say, is kind of my answer to that. And I'm not skilled at it, so I don't know. Yeah.
I think my question back on the composition piece.
Yes.
How do they kind of like tie together? It's like, how do I know when the scene's gonna end? Do they compose the thing first, or do they make the scene first?
Right, so if you watched you were there, you came in for the Duel of the Fates? Yeah. So they were in like that dark room watching the movie, it was already recorded. So, yeah, they almost always, I don't think there's ever been a case where they, I mean, maybe there was a case but it didn't go very well, they make the music before they make the movie. It's just way too hard to time everything. And then, yeah, it's really hard to time everything. And then it's also, I think it gives you a lot more interpretation. It's like better fine tuning when you know what you're creating it for, right? If you're just like blank canvas, make a Star Wars thing, that's really hard to do. You could also spend like an infinite budget making a bunch of different pieces that you don't know what they're going to be used for. Mark.
Oh, question.
No questions? Yeah.
So when you, because like, I don't know, this isn't something that I've really ever done before, so then when you listen to music, do you like always do this? Or
Yes, this is why I can't listen to music while studying. Like at all.
It's like overstimulating.
Yeah, I might have ruined it for you too. Like I can't listen to like people. Actually, you had a case of this, right? Who was it? David.
Yeah.
Yeah, David was like, "Give me some classical music to study to," and I sent him the Mendelssohn violin.
It's over.
Oh, by the way, Augustin Howledge, best violinist in the world. Everyone should listen to him. When you listen to this and you've just got so much going on in the background, it's no longer just like, oh, I can play it. Not in the Mendelssohn, but a good example of like, even when you're playing fast notes to have emphasis on different things. One piece that I really love is Danzon No. 2. So I played this at a competition.
Grammarly is an AI. Choosing where to use.
Oh my god.
Brother.
This is a very, like, you can indulge in this piece a lot because it's just like so many, like, there's just so many fun parts to play. And if you don't discipline yourself, you'll just end up playing a bunch of like really fun slop. Especially for the end here. But basically the ending goes that's when you go, and then ending on the octaves, like I said. But why did I play that? There were some accents there that I wanted to pay attention to.
You were just vibing.
Oh, it's like you're going through it, but it's really important that you don't play slop, like especially at the parts when you go. If you don't play those really accentuated, you're just gonna sound like you're just adding a bunch of noise to the orchestra. It's really important to have those parts accentuated because the entire orchestra comes together and plays that syncopation and then moves on to their different pieces. So, yeah, but you get the point there. Whose question was I answering there? It was yours, right? Yeah.
So,
I think I answered it.
you did.
Did I?
I think you did.
I was thinking of an example of like an example where the music was made before the movie and it turned out really well.
Oh.
Mamma Mia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think is a very, very notable counterexample, but it's also like the only counterexample ever, and also the music is way better than the movie. So
Also true.
Did you say of any like musical that became a movie?
I think, to my knowledge, that's the only music, or that's the only musical where the songs are written like years before the musical is written, like fully not connected by different people.
Right.
But and I think the reason that's the music was so successful they made it into a musical, as opposed to like a musical being so successful that they start selling the songs privately.
Right. I feel like you had a lot of questions throughout. No, Arjun.
No.
Brian, ready?
Yeah, so my first question is I don't understand the color idea that you mentioned in the beginning, because you said they sound the same, so to me that's like the same sine wave, so then what's the difference that we're hearing?
I've got a really good
Go
point
on.
for this.
Yeah.
So you know the Les Miserables thing he showed you with the two people. One of the points I wanted to raise was that like a really cool thing that they do is the shape of their mouth.
Yes.
When they're saying words, so if I say like wa versus like wa, one is warmer than the other, and so it can evoke different feelings.
So what does warmer mean if this is all like sine waves?
For that, I will get to it in a second. I wanted to bring up like a Jacob Collier example, like slightly later, and I guess I can show you there. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, the example here, it's a good point. So they're singing the same notes. I don't know about the sine wave conversion.
It's more
more
so sine wave, yes, but
They're-
also
I guess they're singing the same sine wave. They're singing
It's
the
the
same
same-
frequency.
yeah, it's the
but
same frequency, but it definitely is.
It's like a
But
violin.
Yeah, wait, Tobias, just play like the same. Tobias, play the same note on violin when it's an open note versus closed. Like when the finger.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
that's the clearest
Have
difference.
you
Your
seen
mouth
like
can
the
alter the
sine waves of like music or singing, and how they are never a perfect sine wave? There's like little variations. Not like
Yeah.
a tone. You can tell when it's someone singing a note or a saxophone making a note versus a computer beeping at a certain frequency.
Exactly, yeah.
I see.
So the difference, I mean, well, you know the frequency wavelength relation?
Yeah.
So when they change the shapes of their mouths, usually the wavelengths are just a tiny bit different, and that gives you, well, color.
So why do we use all these different words if they're all just shrinking or expanding the sine wave?
Because these are musicians and not math majors.
How are you going to describe that without like?
Well, why don't we say like 0.1 shift sine wave?
What does that
Right,
mean to
right.
you? Replicate that on an
I
instrument.
want you to imagine you were the first person to ever create music, and it's like 2,000 years before any civilization, whatever. You pull out your oscilloscope, you tune it to the right frequency, and you're like, oh, when I open my embouchure, when I open my mouth, it has a slightly longer frequency. Or you can say, it sounds warmer. I think it's a lot of like mathematically, yes. But
Also, orchestras
musicians-
used to tune mathematically, because like the whole reason we tune at A440 is because like it just sounds better nowadays, and like it fits better. But back in the day, since tuning wasn't as precise, they used to tune to A432 and A450 in some places.
Wait, what is that?
Different frequencies of the note A, and so like if I have that's an A, and then versus it's the same note, just a tiny bit off, and that's in
I can
frequencies.
tune the A to this. That's 440. Or there's a little thing here.
Nice.
See, that's like
It's 450.
It's not a noticeable difference between an A and a B, but it's still
Yeah,
like
maybe.
But this versus
It's straight vibes.
And like another fun little thing from saxophone is that if you're playing a piece that has a lot of vibrato, you'll typically tune your instrument to be a little bit flat, and the vibrato sharpens it. So when you're playing vibrato, the average tone is the note that you're going for, but it's like oscillating between being a little bit too sharp and a little bit too flat.
But I think the answer to why don't you just say, like when you're practicing with someone, can you say make it sound warmer versus make it sound like increase sine wave?
But are these just kind of like the same thing as like our metric prefixes? Like color is like giga, and like whatever is like kila.
No, I don't think it is, and the reason why is because if you tell a singer to increase sine, I mean, I guess you
You know
can
what I'm trying to say?
that.
I'm trying to figure out like which one of these are just like
They do.
I do. I
it
don't
does
know all
correlate.
the science behind why when I sing oh versus why that sounds different. Like I don't know if that's
the same note.
That is the same note, but you hear a difference, right?
What's the difference?
So
the difference
is
is
between jazz and pop.
the difference is like the color. If I'm
They're all sine waves.
I learned about this the other day.
Right, and it's like the sawtooth sounds like metal, and like the square, or I forget.
I see.
Some of them sound like metal, and some of them sound like
I see.
like glass or something like that.
I'm trying to find an answer.
It's like it's still oscillating at the same frequency, but the shape of the oscillation
Yeah.
is different. It's like how like with a synth or like with 8-bit music, it's going to be a square wave, and that makes a very different tone than a perfectly sinusoidal wave.
I see.
Oh yeah. 8 versus
Yo,
16 bit
Brian.
is a big one.
Brian, bro, no, it's not the same frequency at all. Like, it's actually like completely different spectrum. Like, it's not sine waves. Like, we don't look at it in terms of like one sine wave or two sine waves. It's like, you have to look at it from literally what's the spectrum difference. Like, if he says like make the color different and the spectrum is the same, then you're right. That like, if the Fourier is the same, then yes, that is exactly the sound. Like, what your question is coming from is like, what's actually different, right? Like, how can you just change the like sign, like the mathematical property such that you hear something different or something? But like the thing is that like when they're saying like increase the color or something, it's like it's a lower information, like it's like a easier way to say change the spectrum in a certain way. And if I give you like the warmer spectrum and I show you the Fourier of that versus the cold Fourier, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like it looks like fuck. It's like 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 it doesn't.
Warmer is quite literally redshifting, which is quite literally changing the wavelength, right?
I see.
Okay, so it does.
Oh, dude,
it does correlate.
it's like writing an assembly versus Python.
Oh.
I have some slightly adjacent statements to make. Basically, most recently in like our signals class, we were learning about like vowels and how they're made of different formants on like the power spectrum. So it starts with like the peak of the power spectrum is like the fundamental one is like the first peak, and then like the second peak and the 0, 1, and 2. So then 1 and 2, if you look up like formants of vowels like on your computer, you'll see like has a different location than and then like we like made basically like we had our whole class record like head, had, hood, hod, and then we like filtered our like head to move the like first kind of peak in the power spectrum over a tiny bit, so then head became a hod. So I don't fully
That's
know.
pretty cool.
If that
Yeah,
was
any other questions? That was good.
I have more questions. Okay, so going back to the wanted, you said that they're really good at doing that, whatever they're doing. But why do they only have why do these people who you say are good at understanding these things have 2 bangers and then we never heard about them ever again?
I think it's what you said, the difference between the writing and analysis.
Oh, I didn't say they're good. I don't know if I said they're good at analyzing these things.
No, you said they're good at creating songs that do these things.
Honestly, I only know those 2 bangers, and I think they do it really well.
Right. But why are there these musicians or whatever that were I'm going against your point of I thought the Star Wars thing was good, but like this thing is like, why do people produce bangers that you're analyzing that you're saying are la-di-da, but then like they never produce bangers again?
Well, there's a lot more to what makes a banger than the 5 bullet points I put, right? So, I don't know, if I knew everything for how to make a banger, I wouldn't be here. Or maybe I would, but like,
yeah, I guess it's
but it's a lot more than just you study this and actually, this might actually go like, I don't know. I don't think it goes against you being able to make really good songs if you know this stuff, because Jacob Collier knows this stuff really deep and then is also really good at making them. But I don't see how that goes against.
But even G flops though.
I don't see it. Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. Just a lot of it also just comes to crowd appeal.
It is similar to. It's more like a skill. Like making good songs is a skill where there's more than just the fundamental knowledge of what I'm talking about. It's like you know this more than anyone. Just because you did mechatronics doesn't make you a good engineer. So it's kind of the same thing.
Okay, I have a fun question. What is your which natural phenomenon on Earth has the best sense to you? Like a waterfall, a rainforest, or like a penny dropping.
I like birds. I think like good birds. I went to Hawaii once in a rainforest. There's some great birds there. But that's that's the birds make me think a lot of Phoebus singing. That's why I pointed it out. It's also when he does that, when he sings that live, this note especially, this flex note, it's actually really obvious that he just got carried away doing that. Like he's just like really in the moment singing that, because if you listen to the Spotify recording, you're not supposed to hold it that long. See, he doesn't hold it as long there. Holds that one longer than here. But he sounds like a bird to me when he's singing all this stuff, because like super intense vibrato, very free glissando. It's not like the difference between him and
Just imagine in the forest.
the difference between like another difference between how Phoebus sings and how someone like Photo sings is not just the vibrato and stuff like that, but it's also their pacing. Like there's a real structure to how Frollo's singing. He's going. He goes, and when Phoebus sings, he goes. And there's all these glissandos and everything, like a bird. I like your questions. You can ask hard ones if you have hard ones.
Okay, I think those are my questions. Cool. Those are the.
Anything you? Anything different from this time versus when like I first showed this to you?
Oh no, this is just so fun. I have one question that's unrelated to music, but every time I hear something that's like really good, my face turns into one of disgust. Like, you know how that happens?
Oh, I don't know what happens. No, but in the Will Smith autobiography, he talks about every time he would make a song like this, the way he knew it was a banger is if two of his three close friends who were always in the studio with him, the first thing they would do when they heard it was, damn. Like, that was always their first reaction. Actually, Anson recommended a really good song. Like Anson's the third person I ever showed music analyses to, and she wanted to know about this one, which I think is just like a masterpiece of adding. This is a masterpiece of adding new colors and stuff all the time. It's actually quite fun to analyze, and the story fits very well with the music.
Trying to tell you how I feel. Ooh. If my body was a boat, could you steer that sail? Make it feel like it's a 1960s Hollywood trailer. Classic like cars, classic like Elizabeth Taylor. Did you torment me? I need a...
What I told her when I first did the analysis is the bass here, the guitar bass, it's not just going bum, bum, it's going ba-dum, 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 which is what makes this song feel so bouncy. Like that's the core of what makes this. And then just like 8 bars in, there's a transition here.
I really wanted to. You could be my glass of wine. Sunset,
something
my exes, baby, would you?
I think that's you like songs that do that a lot, because every song you send me, right, and you're like, please, music analysis this, it has that same pattern, where right before a chorus, or usually the chorus, but something really good is, and I'm someone who really likes rhythm, so like most good songs for me have really good rhythms, but what comes in before an exciting chorus is, for Anson taste, is swapping on the rhythms and then having
would you make it alright?
It's literally the same thing that happens in Lights, which is what you said, what happens right before.
You're on my mind, I just wanna be
it becomes a lot more full. And that's kind of just like, okay, we're celebrating, it is for real now. But this is another example, like in Worship, Ray does really good at, after a chorus, he increases the intensity way more. Every time before something important, there's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, cut out all the rhythms and then say it. Kanye does this a lot. Now listen to guitar, it's way more full. It actually happens really often.
You just popped in tonight. It's scary. I can't. It's been a week without denying. Oh, she's so excited. Tell me who's invited. You, your friends invited. It's scary to me. Anyway, girls look like Halle Berry to me. So excuse me, miss. I forgot your name. Thank you. Off them tracks, yeah, I bought them cars. Still kill a nigga on 6.
I don't know, but Kanye does this a lot. He'll have all this exciting stuff and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then have a chorus that comes in. Yeah, what did you know?
Oh, I realized you hadn't listened to it before, so it didn't make sense. It was Kiss of Venus for the Dominic cover.
Okay, did we cover questions? Alright, I feel like people are free to leave now.
Oh, yeah. Can you drop the Whiplash video in the chat after?
Whiplash video.
The one that Theo made?
Oh.
That was a banger.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can do that.
Yeah, I actually forgot. Wait, I want to understand, how does this translate? So you mentioned a lot of structure in these songs, right? Structure that makes it good, structure that makes it sound good, structure that evokes emotion. How does this correlate with like the bangers, like the top 50 global bangers right now? Like does it map over? And do you ever see songs in the top 50 or like top 5 that are like, you analyze them and there's not that much structure, it's kind of sloppy and it's kind of noise kind of vibe, you know? Like how much does this correlate?
I mean, I don't know, like, it's also a matter of taste. Like I particularly like songs like that, but like Jordan Peterson in Maps of Meaning, he's like creates his like view of the world is like 2 fundamental things are like order and chaos, and these are like the competing forces, and he explains it in the yin and yang and all these different stories that humans have created through time and religious stories and stuff like that. And I feel like for a good song, you literally cannot take that apart, like, or else it's, if there's no structure to the song, I'm speaking in very abstract terms, but like if there's no structure to the song, it's like, it doesn't sound like music. It would just be noise, right? So like already, if something is on Spotify and people are listening to it, there is some type of structure. Like, you're not just like changing from 2/4 to 3/4 to 4/4 to 2/4 to whatever all the time, or else it would just get like extremely chaotic and it wouldn't sound like music. In general, yeah, I do think that every song follows these patterns. Most songs get extremely boring. I think like Drake music gets sometimes a little boring because he does use the same, he'll like have one thing that starts in the beginning, and I don't think he's as good at adding in new components. Like God's Plan is very repetitive. Like I feel like most of Drake's songs after 2 minutes get kind of boring because there's not a lot of stuff being added. But for the like structure and breaking of structure and stuff, no, those are just fundamental things. Like it doesn't sound like music, and there's no like music is about tension, it's about a duel, it's about a story. It's just like some story that just starts with like there was a guy and then he did something, or like what you're asking is like, is there any good song that's a story like there was a guy and nothing happened? That's not a good story.
Right. I guess with a song like God's Plan, how do you reconcile that
that blew up and does not have? Is it like what's the other component that made it a bang? Is it like the lyrics or like was it catchy? Like what's behind that?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on how things blow up. I would imagine like there's a bunch of those things. It's also like I think Drake's songs are also the story is kind of fun.
Right.
Like the lyrics are more fun than the actual music. Like one I like to quote to Theo all the time is I'll buy the neighbor's house if I forget about the noise. Or if they complain about the noise. I'll buy the neighbor's house if they complain about the noise. It's just like fun lines like that I find very quotable.
Right.
Like I don't think the music is as deep, but one thing like as an artist that he does do is he does try to branch into a bunch of different stuff all the time. People criticize him for that, but I think it's like if Tim Ferriss kept writing 4-hour books, forever. It's much more interesting for them to do new things.
I'd imagine you'd like Lil Yachty's Black Seminole or We Saw the Sun.
I do like Lil Yachty though. Yeah. I don't know them.
Oh, you don't know Black Seminole?
Relative